Mr. Kassan. In regard to the passing of the bill of FNTA, I am in receipt of a letter from the Secretary of the NLU, wherein it is mentioned that the legislators of the NLU had interactions with the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization, and a certain matter cropped up in the later part of yesterday after the bill was actually introduced, wherein they have marked, highlighted certain contents which were missing in the bill that was presented yesterday in this August House in comparison with the Memorandum of Understanding which was signed in New Delhi on the 5th of February this year. There are certain contentious issues surrounding this when we actually look into the bill, the contents there, in reference to what they have stated, that is the MOA of the 5th of February. Therefore, I was compelled to refer the matter and endorse it to Your Honor and seek the reconsideration of this House, and suggest also that the matter be not enacted this time, but the matter be referred back to the government for further consideration. I place it at Your Honor's disposal.
Thank you for giving me time to speak on a very important matter concerning the enactment of the Frontier Nagaland Territorial Authority Act 2026 for the Constitution of the FNTA. As explained by the Honorable Parliamentary Minister, we have been constantly in touch with Government of India Home Ministry, and we are consistent in striving to ensure equity and inclusive development across all sections of our people in all regions of the state. As we are all aware, owing to various historical reasons and geographical challenges, the district of the Eastern Nagaland have suffered significant developmental deficits. These areas have not been able to attain the same level of progress as other parts of the state. Despite our committed and continued initiative and intervention, the enormity of the development gap, coupled with limited resources, has meant that these regions continue to lag behind on several key indicators. In order to fulfill these aspirations, the people of Eastern Nagaland have expressed their desire for an institution arrangement in the form of Frontier Nagaland Territorial Authority. The state government fully appreciates and understands these aspirations, extended its support and work jointly with the Government of India in upholding consultations and building consensus. This process culminated in signing of the memorandum of agreement on 5th February, as we all know, 2026, between Government of India, Nagaland government, and the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization for the establishment of FNTA within the state of Nagaland. The Frontier Nagaland Territory, as everyone is aware, will comprise 6 districts of Eastern Nagaland, namely Pekchan, Mon, Longland, Kiperi, Noklak, Samatar of Nagaland State. Speaker Sir, the objective of constituting the FNTA is to establish a unique self-governing territorial authority that will enable the people of Eastern Nagaland to fulfill their social, economic, educational, culture and linguistic aspirations. It will also provide for democratic, decentralized self-governance at the regional level within the state. Sir, with the constitution of FNTA, it is also envisaged for a comprehensive economic development of Eastern Nagaland, region-aligning its process with the rest of the state. The state government will be allocating funds to FNTA based on its population and size, and also the Government of India keeping in view underdevelopment and lack of infrastructure in Eastern region will be sanctioned requisite funds under various schemes, programs of the ministry as a special development grant for developing of the infrastructure within the FNTA, for which FNTA will themselves identify such development projects in consultation with the state. FNTA will also prepare its own annual plan within the allocation fund of the department and subject under its control, and will have to own planning, financing set up to formulate development plan based on grassroots needs. The state government on its part will ensure timely release of funds in accordance with laid down norms of the state government as well as the central government. Speaker Sir, I would like to briefly outline the process followed in preparing the bill for the constitution of the FNTA. As per clause 3.3 of the memorandum of agreement, the FNTA is to be considered under a special legislation to be enacted by the state government in consultation with the Ministry of Home Affairs. The concerned department of the state, following the signing of MOU, started preparing the bill and incorporating the various provisions of memorandum of agreement signed on 5th February 2026 between Government of India, Government of Nagaland and the ENPO for a creation of FNTA. The State Cabinet met on 26 February 2026 and deliberated on the draft Frontier Nagaland Territorial Bill prepared by the Law and Justice Department. The Cabinet noted that the provisions of the MOA inter alia envisages to give legislative power to FNTA. The views of the learned Advocate General, who was present in the meeting, were also sought. The learned Advocate General opinion that under the Constitution scheme, legislative power cannot be conferred on the FNTA through a state legislation. Upon further deliberation, the Cabinet observed that the state government does not possess the legislative competence to delegate powers equivalent to its own or to transfer a legislative authority to another body or authority. Accordingly, the Cabinet directed the Chief Secretary to bring the opinion of the learned Advocate General and its observations in respect to the legislative powers for FNTA to the notice of MHA. A copy of the communication sent to FNTA was also directed to be provided to the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization. In compliance, the state government addressed a communication to the Ministry of Home Affairs on 6 March 2026 regarding the issue of legislative power under clause 3.3 of the MOA with a copy to the ENPO Annexure 1, a copy of the letter sent to FHA. Sir, all these copies I will submit to your good office after I complete my speech. On 10th March, a communication was received from FHA wherein the state government was requested to initiate action in terms of clause number 3.3 of MOA for constitution of FNTA under a state legislation to be enacted by the state government in consultation with the FHA of Home Affairs as per the previous provisions of MOA, and to send the draft proposal in this regard to FHA. In the midst of all this above development, I also had a discussion with the Union Home Secretary on 16th March 2026, wherein the MOA signed between the Government of Nagaland with Government of India and ENPO was discussed, and the need for early constitution of FNTA was also stressed open. Subsequently, the draft bill prepared by the Law and Justice Department of the state was further examined, and after being vetted by the learned Advocate General of the state, a copy of the same was sent to Ministry of Home Affairs on 17 March 2026 in terms of clause 3.3 of MOA, Annexure 2, a copy of the letter to FHA. Meanwhile, the representative of the Eastern Nagaland People's Organization met me on 24th March 2026, and the matter regarding constitution of FNTA was discussed, and representation was also submitted, wherein the ENPO of the 8 tribes of Eastern Nagaland requesting that FNTA bill be passed before their forthcoming Central Executive Committee meeting scheduled to be held on 30th March 2026. So this letter mentioned that 49 days has left, and therefore no further delay should be done. And since President and his team was with me, and my cabinet colleagues were with me, we assured that in this session we will pass the bill. And we had written the letter as mentioned on 6 March and 17 March, the reply, waiting for the reply, or if the reply don't come also, we assure that we'll pass the bill. And that's how we introduced the bill yesterday, and we intend to pass the bill today, but those letters were received and we are seized of that situation. In view of these developments, the cabinet met again on 25th March 2026 and further deliberated on the provision of the draft bill and making into accounts the request of ENPO and also the fact that the session of the NLA is concluding on 27th March 2026, that is today, decided to approve the draft bill with further modifications as considered necessary and for tabling in the ongoing session of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. Accordingly, the bill for the constitution of FNTA was tabled yesterday, that is 26 March 2026. However, yesterday evening, I was also contacted by the Ministry of Home Affairs, conveying that the matter regarding the conferral of legislative power to the FNTA, which had earlier been raised by the state government in its communication, is still under examination. The Ministry further informed that the opinion of the learned Solicitor General of India is being sought on this issue. The state government has accordingly been requested to allow some more time to the ministry and to take up any further action with regards to FNTA bill only after receipt of their views and opinions. Further, in the evening of 26 March 2026, ENPO has submitted an appeal requesting that the provision of the Memorandum of Agreement signed on 5th February 2026 be upheld while passing the FNTA Bill 2026, and as communicated by the Member Secretary of ILO, pass it on to the Parliamentary Minister. Letter yesterday evening, ILO has submitted a letter to Parliamentary Minister and ENPO dated 26 March to consider deferring passage of the FNTA bill until time that all the concerns are adequately addressed and clarity is attained in MOA. Speaker Sir, in view of the request made by the Government of India, which is a signatory to the Memorandum of Agreement, and the appeal of ENPO and the request made by INLO, and keeping in mind the necessity of ensuring that provision of MOA are addressed in legally sound and constitutionally tenable manner, I propose that consideration and passing of the Frontier Nagaland Territorial Authority Bill 2026 be deferred as stated by Minister Parliamentary Affairs, and that the bill be referred back to the government for further examinations. Thank you.
Leader of the House and also the Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs for clarifying the notice. Since the notice received is not for withdrawal of the FNTA bill introduced on the 26th of March 2026. After thorough deliberation and examination, I take the following directions. That in exercise of power vested in me under Rule 93, subsection B, read with Rule 313 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, consideration and passing of the FNTA Bill 2026 is therefore deferred to the next earliest emergency session. Meanwhile, Secretary of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly to note that the FNTA Bill 2026 as introduced yesterday is therefore referred back to the Government of Nagaland for necessary examination and redressal to the Department of Parliamentary Affairs. This, honourable members, is in light of the historic significance and sentiments attached to the bill introduced yesterday. And that will be the direction of the House. But deferred to the next emergency session. We shall now come to item number 1B. Item number 1B, the Nagaland Jan Biswas Amendment of Provision Bill 2026. Honourable members are aware that this bill was introduced in the House on 26th of March 2026 and scheduled for consideration and passing today. May I request Honourable Shri Yanthamopatan, Honourable Deputy Chief Minister, to move the bill for taking into consideration.